Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Well, family, the KKK leaders allege producers paid them hundreds of dollars to fake scenes in a canceled A&E documentary. This is an exclusive supplied by Variety staff. With that said, let's go to the article. Well, family, the subjects of a TV documentary series about the Ku Klux Klan abruptly canceled last week by A&E alleged to Variety that significant portions of what was filmed were fabricated by the producers. And family, we're not surprised about that. Some KK leaders divulged that they were paid hundreds of dollars in cash each day of filming to compel them on camera to distort the facts of their lives to fit the documentary's predetermined narrative. And that narrative, tensions between Klan members and relatives of theirs who wanted to get out of the Klan. The findings are based on an exclusive Variety investigation based on interviews with over 24 individuals in and around the KKK who cooperated with the documentary in at least 6 United States states. Originally scheduled to air January 10th, quote, Escaping the KKK, a documentary series exposing hate in America, unquote, was produced by Venice, California-based production company This Is Just a Test, or the acronyms TIJAT. The KKK leaders who were interviewed by Variety detailed how they were wooed with promises the program would capture the truth about life in the organization, encouraged not to file taxes on cash payments for agreeing to participate in the filming, presented the pre-scripted fictional story scenarios, instructed what to say on camera, asked to misrepresent their actual identities and motivations and relationships with others, and reenacted camera shoots repeatedly until the production team was satisfied. Well, family, before moving on in this story, I just want to point out the fact that this company, the Venice-based company called This Is Just a Test, should be investigated for fraud as well and other crimes when they are presenting people with money, cash payments, and then telling people not to file the taxes. This is a criminal. This is definitely a crime. They should be investigated and someone should go to jail for this. But I digress. I'm going to stay on point. And the production team even paid for material and equipment to construct and burn wooden crosses and Nazi swastikas, according to multiple sources, including Richard Nichols, who is one of the featured subjects of the documentary series as the Grand Dragon of a KKK cell known as the Tennessee White Knights of the Invisible Empire. He also said he was encouraged by a producer to use the epithet nigger in interviews. Quote, We were betrayed by the producers and A&E, unquote, said Nichols. Quote, It was all made up. Pretty much everything we said and did was fake. And because that is what the film people told us to do and say, unquote. Asked about the allegations, a rep for A&E declined comment beyond issuing a statement that made clear the company is going to take the additional step of conducting a probe of the production. Quote, A&E had already made the decision to cancel this documentary series based on recently discovered payment practices of the producers in the field, and we are conducting a full independent investigation into the production. Well, when you investigate this, make sure that you jail those people who handed out cash payments to people to lie. Someone and some people should be going to jail, certainly. Well, production company This Is Just a Test also issued a statement to respond in response to the allegations, which suggested participants are being intimidated into tarnishing the show. Yeah, you guys are just trying to cover your asses, is more like it. Quote, we take these allegations very seriously and in partnership with A&E, we will be looking into them fully, unquote, a portion of its statement read. Quote, we have been told the participants in the series have received threats and coerced into speaking out against the authenticity of the show. People are lying. And so, led by principals Angus, James, and Colin Miller, This Is Just a Test is a prolific producer of unscripted TV series for cable networks such as TLC's I Am Jazz and Animal Planet's Project Grizzly, as well as theatrical documentaries and commercials. TIJAT is currently negotiating with A&E to get the rights back to, quote, escaping the KKK, unquote, with the intent of shopping it to another network. Producers told KKK leaders who participated in the documentary prior to the cancellation that a second season was being discussed with the network. So, not only did they fake a lot of the information within this documentary, not only did they fake and set it up, but now they want to shop it to some other networks. That's interesting. The allegations are in stark contradiction to how the 8-episode series was positioned to the public by A&E, and This Is Just a Test. Quote, this show is not rehearsed or pre-packaged, unquote, said Bob Chernow, Executive Vice President and General Manager of A&E and Lifetime, told the Hollywood Reporter on December 19th, quote, these filmmakers knew that they weren't going into making a reality show. They were making a hard-hitting series about a provocative subject, unquote. Sure. The purported quality of the program, originally known as Generation KKK, helped draw the support of organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League and Color of Change, which A&E publicized. But that didn't keep Generation KKK from being accused on social media of providing a platform for a hate group. The network subsequently retitled the series, a decision Chernow explained to Variety on December 23rd reflected its standing as, quote, a pure documentary. But the very next day, Escaping the KKK was suddenly canceled. As its December 24th announcement revealed, the cable network made the surprise move after being made aware of payments made by the production company to Klan members, contrary to assurances the company said were made to advocacy organizations that supported the series and the public. Quote, A&E learned last night from the third-party producers who made the documentary that cash payments, which we currently understand to be nominal, were made in the field to some participants in order to facilitate access, read a statement issued by the network. So basically they're trying to now backtrack and say that they made these cash payments to in the field to some participants in order to facilitate access. What that means, family, you and I both don't know. It's purely a smokescreen. What they were doing is against the law, is what it sounds like. Paying people cash, again, paying people cash out in the field or wherever, and then telling them not to file the taxes. Well, the cancellation occurred less than 24 hours after this reporter contacted several producers at This Is Just a Test with the allegations contained in this story. Those same producers, according to multiple KKK members who participated in the documentary, subsequently warned them not to speak to this reporter if contacted. But sources close to the production also cast doubt on the testimony of KKK leaders, describing them as inveterate liars, motivated by an agenda to scuttle a series that could make them look bad if it ever aired, and prone to confusing, being manipulated with aggressive questioning from producers. What prompted Richard Nichols to share his life with TV viewers was a solicitation via email from This Is Just a Test producer, which he summarized as saying, quote, "We want to show everyone the real truth about the Klan," unquote. Richard Nichols, who can trace his lineage back to one of the founding members of the KKK, said he allowed This Is Just a Test into his home in Pulaski, Tennessee, and the KKK circles in which he traveled from anywhere from 3 to 8 days at a time each month for a period that lasted 4 or 5 months in mid-2016. But, as Richard Nichols describes it, the production had little interest in accurately reflecting his life. Instead, he says, TIJAT producers manipulated every aspect of what appeared on camera, right down to making sure his choice of words during interviews was sufficiently objectionable. Quote, "They kept asking me, wanting me to use the word nigger," said Richard Nichols, who alleged he was paid $600 per day by producers to participate. Quote, "I was sitting down being filmed and interviewed with the lights and the backdrop set up, and I said something and used the word blacks. Then the producer interrupted me and said, no, we want him to use the word nigger." TIJAT producers went so far as to orchestrate more than one cross-burning ceremony in Pulaski, though it is presented in the documentary as if the KKK is actually hosting the event. Quote, "We've been allowed special access to film this secret induction," unquote, reads a title card that precedes one of the cross-burning scenes. All lies, all lies. He says, quote, "It was the producers who told me they wanted a cross-lighting," recounted Richard Nichols. Quote, "In fact, they made 2 cross-lightings because they wanted to reshoot some scenes. They bought everything, the wood, the burlap to wrap around the wood, the diesel and kerosene for my cross-lighting. They even bought all the food for everyone," unquote. Nichols' storyline in the documentary series involves his efforts to recruit a young man, Cody Hutt, into the KKK, but their dynamic was also less than truthful. Hutt made it clear to the producers he was never seriously considering joining the KKK, but he was willing to take $200 per day from them to act the part. Quote, "From the first day I sat them down and told them I had no interest in joining the Klan," said Hutt. As This Is Just a Test cameras capture, the tension between Nichols and Hutt reaches the boiling point when Hutt brings an anti-hate activist, Brian Whitner, to Nichols' home to help convince Nichols to leave Hutt alone. When Nichols learns who Whitner is, he angrily demands he leaves the house, even threatening to kill Whitner. But Richard Nichols and Hutt say the scene was a fabrication. Quote, "That was 100% the TV guy's idea and staged," unquote, said Nichols. Quote, "When me and Richard had a falling out and he was mad because I wouldn't join, they staged that all," said Hutt. So now we have collaborators who are admitting that all of this was set up and fabricated. And Richard Nichols is one of 4 separate Klan members who are the focus of the documentary series, which also chronicles separate cells of the hate group operating in Mississippi, Georgia, and Kentucky. So family, the Klan activity in Tennessee was not the only one with fabricated elements. Sources knowledgeable of what transpired among all 4 featured Klan groups were This Is Just a Test shot describe similar circumstances. In Kentucky, which, unlike the other 3 areas, is not depicted in the first 4 episodes of the series provided to TV critics, TIJAT producers weren't above turning its documentary subjects into fictional characters. Quote, "They told me to find someone who was family that was against my beliefs," unquote, said Dan Elmquist, the imperial wizard of the Kentucky-based Nordic Order of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, who reports getting $500 a day to participate. Quote, they were trying to get my wife and me to say that my wife didn't like me involved in Klan stuff, but my wife is a member of the Klan. So we filmed with my Nighthawk's wife saying she was my cousin and acting as the anti-Klan person. A&E knew she wasn't my cousin or against the Klan, unquote. Shameful, A&E, just shameful. This is really just shameful, family. That's all I can say. But we're not surprised, are we? Not the black community. We are not surprised. We've always known you guys have been lying through your teeth, through your nose, through your... I won't go anywhere else, but we know you guys are liars. The quote, Nighthawk, unquote, which is KKK terminology for a Klan's chief of security for the Nordic Order Knights, who confirmed Elmquist's account in an interview with Chris Brasher of Bowling Green, Kentucky. When Elmquist and Brasher refers to A&E, they are not referring to the network, but producers from This Is Just a Test. Quote, A&E would give me an order of what to say. It was scripted, unquote, said Brasher, who also reported getting $500 a day. Quote, my wife isn't a member of the Klan. A&E was telling her to say to me, quote, if you don't leave the Klan, I'm going to leave you. I don't want to leave my husband, but if he doesn't leave the Klan, I will, unquote. It was a joke, really. My wife and I get along fine. She was never going to leave me because I am in the Klan. A&E made all that up and told us what to say, unquote. Man, these people are just liars, and they just want to just fabricate things and show a side of who they are when they're not. It's just smoke screens. It's not truthful at all. So listen how they try to clean it up. But sources close to the production say that whatever interviews Brasher sat for were not intended for the documentary's first season, and that it could have been for a demo reel for another season. Man, these people are trying to cover their shit up so good. A&E's payment policies for unscripted series have already created other problems for the network. Citing escaping the KKK earlier this week, an attorney representing the Church of Scientology accused A&E of hypocrisy by alleging that two of the participants in the docuseries, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath, were paid to appear on camera. The network hasn't responded to the church's charge, so it appears that A&E has been pulling this quite often. On the Tennessee shooting location of the KKK documentary, Richard Nichols and Hutt described being paid by a man with a blue rectangular bank money bag, which he would unzip and hand out $50 or $100 bills. And family, once again, here's where I say that someone should go to jail for this. Well, of the leaders of the four Ku Klux Klan groups referred to on the TV series, only one denied receiving payments for his participation. Quote, I was never paid a dime, but I wish they did, said Steve Howard, Imperial Wizard for the North Mississippi White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, on December 24th. But yet, 2 days later, on December 26th, Howard lashed out on his Facebook account demanding $100,000 payments from A&E and the film production company for money he said was promised and owed him. Tomorrow by 11, I start singing, so someone better take care of it. I want lost wages, unquote, wrote Howard. Quote, they can buy me out or I start singing, unquote. Howard took down his Facebook post less than 24 hours later. Interesting. What is still unclear is which entities had foreknowledge of the fabrications. While it is conceivable A&E could have learned what was going on via communication between the network and production during the shoot, it is also possible that the network was kept in the dark. Sure, the network kept in the dark. This They're trying to cover their asses is what's going on. Even the principals of the production company itself may not have had complete knowledge of how individual producers were conducting themselves on the ground at shoots. So A&E, and this is just a test. If that's the case, you guys should be firing all of your producers. Is that what you're saying? And is that what you did? Because if you're going to cover your ass by saying that you guys didn't know, then you need to fire all of those people involved in this. Anyways, I digress. But the documentary raises troubling questions as to how much responsibility and oversight a network should have over the content of programming it licenses to air. Well, I'd say that since in other situations they always go to the top and start firing from top down, that's what I suggest you guys start doing here. Why is it that you see it differently? Is it because all these people are white? Just pretend that they're black and then work your way through. Start firing. And so, family, the lure of easy money certainly has its allure to KKK members and their families living in some of the poorest regions of the country. Hut, who is a 22-year-old high school dropout who lives with his mother, readily admits that getting paid by producers was his motivation for helping distort the truth. Quote, "Hey, I love the money, don't get me wrong. I wanted them to come back," he confessed. "Now, I don't want anything to do with them." Well, that's interesting. The money certainly was good to fabricate this story. I'm glad they decided to cancel this documentary because, after all, it was just full of air, hot air. Fabricated, untruths and lies. That's exactly what they are all about. Inveterate liars. So, family, that's the extent of this video. I am happy to be one to expose this type of thing on video. I know someone else had already done this as well, but I wanted to cover it too because I didn't know the details, and now I know as well. Family, thanks again for watching. This is Guru. Peace and love to you and yours. Until the next video, take care.